Good morning. Hey, you look fantastic. First and foremost, we had over 2,000 volunteers from all over the community in the city. Give yourselves a hand, guys. Thank you. What a fantastic day for our entire city. And, you know, to be here and to see the spirit, to see your enthusiasm, to see everybody's pride in this beautiful new library after all of the years that it's taken us to get here is something special, don't you think? Do you remember sometime there was people that said we don't need new libraries? I don't see any of them here today, I don't think. What I see and to see all of the smiles on the kids' faces, people here of all ages, you know how important libraries are. Centers of knowledge, community gathering spaces. And to be here today with all of you after we have worked so hard, and this is one of the things that I remember from way back when I was a council member, that we said we wanted to not just have a new library, but we wanted to have a library that was going to be beautiful, that was going to make a statement, that was going to last in this community for generations to come. And with your help and with your support, we are finally here. This community demanded this library, demanded this excellence. Congratulations. This is a great day for all of us here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I'm joined by some great folks that we're going to hear from in a second. Our Congresswoman, Susan Davis. Susan. We just saw each other this week in Washington, D.C., and it was just like this. Our Assembly Member, Todd Gloria. Todd. Our City Council Member, Chris Ward. Chris, right there, right behind me. Person who's worked so hard on this for years, Jay Hill, the CEO of the San Diego Public Library Foundation. Jay. Connie Matsui is President and CEO of the San Diego Foundation. Connie, thank you for being here. Phyllis Marion, who is the President of the Friends of the Library. Phyllis, I think this is the largest gathering of Friends of the Library I've ever seen in my life. A movement. And of course, we have so many of our hardworking city employees or librarians from the entire system that came here, and so many city departments who are proud of this. Thank you all, City of San Diego, and all of our librarians from all over the place. All right, so let's make it official. Of course, we are here to celebrate the grand opening of the new Mission Hills, Hillcrest, Harley, and Bessie Knox Branch Library. Congratulations. This project represents an investment of more than $20 million for our families, for our kids, and for the residents of Hillcrest, Mission Hills, all of the surrounding neighborhoods. This is a hub for people of all ages. And as I said, to have so many thousands of you that came out this morning, that have that personal pride, that personal connection, to talk to so many of the parents with your kids who were out here today and said, this is going to be their library. And this is a place that I want them to take their kids when they grow up. That's how special and that's how important this is. This is a catalyst for community engagement, and now more important than ever, gathering spaces for the community, for people to come together. This is why this library is so incredibly proud. And as I said, a library that has the latest in modern technology, a center for children and teens, meeting space, study rooms, an underground parking garage, which was not easy to build, and it cost a lot of money. But we needed to have parking here. Drought-tolerant landscaping, public art, beautiful public art, and so much more that we're all going to get a chance to see here in just a few minutes. This is one of the reasons why continuing to invest in our neighborhoods and libraries across the city is something that, as your mayor, I've made a priority. And when I look back on my time, when I'm done with this, these investments in our libraries is one of the things that I'm going to look back with all of you with so much pride. Because we made this a priority, not only for new libraries, but to extend the hours of the libraries that we have, ladies and gentlemen. And with everybody's help that it's here, it's so important. And later this year, we're going to be in San Ysidro to open a brand new library down in the San Ysidro community as well. So we're going to keep this momentum up. We're going to continue to make library hours, library investments. This is an investment in our neighborhoods. And everybody you see standing here behind me knows that and understands that. And so playing that special role with all of you, but it's not just the city. As I think so many of you know, it takes public-private partnership. It takes the community coming together to make this happen. We had the city, of course, help, and a $10 million grant from the Hervey Family Fund and the Harley and Bessie Knox Memorial Fund. Please give them, Hervey Family Fund, so much attention. And as you know, in recognition of their immense generosity, this library is named in honor of Harley and Bessie Knox. And there are so many others that helped get here to where we are today. I do want to thank particularly Assemblymember Gloria and Councilmember Ward, who helped get this across the finish line. As I said before, this was on the books for, it was about 15 years? Yep. Nice, easy project to get across the finish line. But because we said we don't just want any library, we wanted a library that was going to make a statement for our families for years to come. And so, thank you. I want to thank everybody at the Public Library Foundation. I want to thank all of the city crew who knew how important this was. I'll list a few names really quickly. Our Deputy Chief Operating Officer, Bob Vaki, James Nagelvort, and the entire Public Works Department. Misty Jones, our Library Director. Mr. Jones, thank you, Misty. Everyone at the San Diego Public Library Foundation, and of course, the friends, the mighty friends that are out here in the hundreds and over 1,000 of the Friends of the Mission Hills-Hillcrest Library. Friends, give yourselves a round of applause. I can't wait to join everybody as we open these doors in just a few minutes, but I did want to invite up some of the folks that have been so strong for this community in making this library happen. And I tell you, when we all look back decades from now, we're all going to be able to say we were here when this gorgeous facility opened. And so I'm so glad that I'm joined by so many of my colleagues. First and foremost is a Congresswoman from our area, who's been a fantastic and tremendous supporter from libraries throughout the city of San Diego. Please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Susan Davis. Congresswoman.
Thank you, Mayor Faulconer, and welcome, and what excitement I can feel out here and with all of you. It's just terrific. I will not go on to mention all the names of the library and particularly to thank each and every one of you and collectively, but I just want you to know that I see how you're reflecting your own values and the community values in the care and the patience and the dedication that you showed in planning and bringing all of this to a reality for the community. It's impressive, and I know everybody thanks you for it. You took what was actually a relatively small footprint, but you embraced it in the craftsman style and the intimacy of all of our neighborhoods here. And that's what makes it work so well. I also want to say, as just another thought, as the mom of a librarian, who always says that librarians are the most egalitarian of all of our institutions because everybody can use them and nobody has to. We know that they constitute this bringing together that the mayor spoke about, not just to read, of course to read, but to do so many creative things together, and that's something that we all want to celebrate. It means a connection to people. And as I look at all the children here, I know for you and for those very young children who walk through these doors for the very first time, knowing that this space was built for them to enjoy. It means the first sense of membership that their library card represents. And that is a connection to our community, to our neighborhoods that we can all celebrate. And finally, as your congressional representative, I just wanted to make a small link to history, back to our American history and the place of libraries essential to our society. Thomas Jefferson is quoted as saying, "I cannot live without books. I cannot live without books. Reading is the greatest of all amusements." And that love of reading was really tested in the War of 1812. because the collection of books for the Congress in the Capitol was all burned down. And when it was reduced to ashes, the president, or at that time, Thomas Jefferson, wanted to do something in return. So he brought his own collection and sold that to the government. Those books, at that time, about 6,500. Today, the Library of Congress, as you know, is the biggest library in the world. And we celebrate that together, and we're a part of that history. And so I want you to be part of that as well today. I'm happy to donate these books from the Library of Congress to the Mission Hills-Hillcrest branch with the joy that you must all be feeling today. As you share in the knowledge that people from all walks of life can join together to read, to create, to innovate, and to explore in what is provided here. Thank you all for your efforts.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Congresswoman. And next up is a gentleman that I served on the city council with. So we had districts right next to each other. From the very beginning, we said we were going to make this library a very special place. Please join me in welcoming my friend and colleague, Assemblymember Todd Gloria.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. He is exactly right. I remember sitting with you in a very, not tense, I would say, community meeting at the top of the Park Manor Hotel many, many years ago, where as council members we committed that this project would get done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This is now done. Before I go any further, can I just point out that we have the best member of Congress in the United States, in Susan Davis. Would you please give her applause? Susan, thank you so much for your leadership and your donation to this library. And God bless you. We're so grateful to have you in Washington, D.C. fighting on our behalf. Am I right? Exactly. So this is truly a momentous day for this community. I could not be more excited to officially open the Mission Hills-Hillcrest Harley and Bessie Knox Branch Library. That's a lot of letters, everybody. That's probably how you get to about 20 million. And just because I'm a history major from the University of San Diego, I want to point out for those who may not know, Harley Knox was our 25th mayor of our city. Bessie, of course, is his wife. They served during the 1940s and 1950s. This memory is to commemorate them and their contributions to this city. There's a fabulous book written by USD professor Iris Engstrand, which I'd encourage you to read, that talks about a time when our city came together to get big and important things done. That is why this library is named after the Knox, Harley and Bessie Knox, and I hope that you'll always remember them. We should remember our mayors, right? Now, the mayor was very kind to acknowledge myself and, of course, our fabulous city council member, Chris Ward. But I want to point out someone who wished to be here today but could not is Toni Atkins, our state senator, Toni Atkins. Toni is, she got this ball rolling. I think she was the one that, under her leadership on the council, purchased this particular piece of property to turn into a library. She wanted to be here today. Some of you may know she is shattering glass ceilings across the state as the first female Senate President pro tem. Her duties are now statewide in responsibility. She's in Los Angeles today, but she sends her good greetings to all of you, and I think we should celebrate her role in making sure this library was possible. So what I love about this building is that this was a community-led effort. When Kevin and I were baby council members all those years ago trying to figure out how to make this work, the community really demanded something here on this site, something that was visionary, that was an active space, that was really made for our community and for our children. And kids, I'm here to tell you, many years from now, when you come to this library with your children, you'll be able to tell them that you were here when we opened this library. I hope you'll always remember this day. And look at today. Look at the thousands of people who are here today to celebrate this. I think we did this right. We have a situation. We've brought everyone together. And I want to give a special shout out to all the volunteers that made that book pass possible. Wasn't that really cool? Wasn't that awesome? And in particular, I want to acknowledge the volunteers from San Diego Pride. This really is a community-led effort. All of our Pride volunteers, raise your hands. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. We appreciate what you do. And we'll see you in July, right? So listen. Just very quickly, because you're standing, it's hot, and we gave you scarves. I'm sorry. It's okay. You're going to have that forever, too, right? This library is going to transform lives. I want you to think about that. This is not just a building of brick and walls and, oh, did I drop something? Oh, yeah, okay, you're good. All right. This is not, just checking, we want to take care of the kids. This is not just brick and mortar, it's not walls and a roof. This is a very special place that will transform people's lives. Folks will come here to learn how to read, to find a job, to use a computer, to connect with the community. That is why this is hallowed ground, really special place for all of us. And I think that every neighborhood deserves a functional and important, accessible public library like this one. So we know that libraries promote literacy and support educational opportunities, but there's so much more than that. So let's not stop here. Let's continue to prioritize the expansion of crucial neighborhood services like our beautiful libraries. And you can always count on me to be a champion for those kinds of efforts. And before I close, I just want to acknowledge our city employees who are here. Folks, the librarians who get to work here, the engineers who help to draw it, the purchasing folks that helped us to buy the materials, our city employees, where are you at? Wave your hands in the air. These are public servants. They get up every day and work so hard, and I appreciate every last one of you. And if the last month hasn't showed you how important civil servants are, I think we should know better than ever how important the public servants that get up every day, not to push a stock price, not to push a shareholders report, simply to make the city a better place to live. To our city employees, our hats are off to all of you. And one more time, they don't get enough appreciation. In closing, I would say I'm proud to have played a role in this effort. During my time as interim mayor, we worked hard to put together the funding to make this happen. We overcame a frivolous lawsuit to get us to this particular day. Nothing worth doing is easy, but today we are here. And as a Mission Hills resident, I look forward to coming back here for many years to come to enjoy this beautiful library. Congratulations and thank you to the Uptown community, to Mission Hills and to Hillcrest for making this possible. Thank you, Mayor Faulconer, Councilmember Ward, for seeing this project through. And thank you to the donors who made this day possible. This is a great San Diego day. We should always be more than fine. We should be great. This is a great one. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Todd. I'd forgotten about that lawsuit.
I didn't.
Nothing's easy, right? Nothing's easy worth doing. As Todd just mentioned, we're very fortunate to have a council member in our area that understands the importance of libraries, understands the importance of neighborhood investment. Please welcome Councilmember Chris Ward. Chris, come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mission Hills. Good morning, Hillcrest. Good morning, Girl Scouts. I am so excited that everybody is out here for this momentous day. It's been a long time in the making, and we certainly are excited for all that the library is going to bring to our community for generations to come. Our District 3 communities, like Uptown, we're growing fast. We have new residents coming in. We got new businesses coming in, and we have to have state-of-the-art facilities and programs and services that match that growing need. And isn't this just a beautiful building? Look at the architecture and the river rock, being able to bring together so many of the elements that we love to see here in the Mission Hills and Hillcrest communities. Just a fine job for everybody that planned and got this building done. My office is committed to making sure that we keep that momentum going, and we're working with the residents to continue to identify additional community programs and services that are going to benefit this community. And I remember really crystal clear when I came into this office 2 years ago, and I was getting the status report of everything that Todd had done so much work to be able to lay the groundwork on. And I said, where are we at on this, that, and the other project? And this project was due to open in September of 2019. And here we are in January. I said, Mr. Mayor, what can we do to streamline to get the shovels in the ground? And I remember just about 2 years ago when the community turned out to break ground on this, and here we are a full 8 months earlier to enjoy the benefits of the library. We've nearly quadrupled in size. That's 4 times the size of the previous library, a 15,000 square foot facility that's not just for the library uses of the past, but those of the future. Having computers, having event space, having community opportunities for youth, for teens, for young adults. I think that this is going to be a win for just about everybody in the community. And of course, we have our first community event. We had the book pass, but there's more coming up in the coming week, including a cheese and crafting event for adults in our community room on the the 30th at 6 p.m. The fun is already underway. We're going to continue to work fiercely for additional improvements like this across Mission Hills and Hillcrest because they're long overdue, they're certainly needed, and we want to make sure that this infrastructure matches the coming population. And I know that this has been a decade over in the making, but I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize that it really took the perseverance of fundraising by the Friends of the Library, by the Friends of the Mission Hills Library. So can we give it up to Phyllis and Elaine and Nancy and everybody else that is adding the value. All of you are contributing, and there are more opportunities to contribute for the additional programs, for the books, for the services, to make this just the ideal space. Can we also give it up for the leadership of Florence Elementary School right here next door? Our neighborhood school, one of our neighborhood schools, and the access that we will have for students and after-school programs is just the opportunities are boundless. So I want to thank everybody else that got us here today. It was a long time in the coming. We are very excited for the programs that we're going to see here in 2019, and the work at City Hall will keep going to benefit Mission Hills and Hillcrest. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Okay, just two more speakers before we all melt, and we're going to open up this library. You're already melting. Look what I started. Okay, it's good. Very quick, guys. I know I'm with you. I'm happy to introduce Jay Hill. He's the CEO of the San Diego Public Library Foundation. And as you just heard from our speakers, it's our private donors that really helped make this happen. Without all of you, without making those donations, and our foundation is charged with raising more than $200,000 to bring even more resources to this great library. Jay's going to tell us briefly a little bit about it, but thank you, Jay Hill, our San Diego Public Library Foundation. Jay, thank you.
Hello, everybody. Well, it's a great day for libraries here in San Diego. I'm Jay Hill, and I'm the CEO of the San Diego Public Library Foundation. We support all 36 libraries across the city of San Diego, and I'm really proud that this is the 10th library that we have been involved in. I'm here to acknowledge a few people, some great volunteers, and some great donors. But first, I have to say the most exciting thing I've heard today was the mayor and the elected officials' support of libraries and the budgetary support. So please, let's thank our mayor for supporting the libraries, especially this coming April. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We would not be able to do this without your support, and you've already heard about our historic partnership with the Friends. Thank you, Phyllis Marion. Phyllis, please stand. We want to really acknowledge your work. I'm here representing hundreds of volunteers and hundreds of donors that helped make this possible. This was a $26 million project. The foundation's committed to raising 13 of that, and as the mayor mentioned, we are almost there. So know that we still have some great naming opportunities when you look inside, but I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the chair of our campaign, the incredible, the inspiring Deborah Zake. Deborah, let's please give it up for Deborah. Thank you so much. In addition to our partnership with the Friends, the Library Commission also serves your needs, and I want to acknowledge the Library Commission Chair, Wendy Urashima Khan. Wendy, there you go. Thank you, Wendy. Lastly, we have a great board of trustees that help support, again, all 36 libraries, and that's chaired by Cindy Olmstead. Thank you, Cindy. All right, we're getting started. We're going to go in there soon, but just know we need your support. We need you to get library cards. We need you to use the library. We need you to volunteer. We need you to advocate for how important it is to fund libraries. And of course, if you want to get involved as donors to help us make projects like this happen, we're committed to equality across the system. This is a historic year. It's the first time we're opening 2 libraries in the same year. We're still raising funds for San Ysidro. There are many places in San Diego that need a beautiful library like this. So please see me or any members of our team. But thank you. Congratulations, Mission Hills and Hillcrest.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. All right, finally, I'd like to introduce the interim president of the San Diego Foundation, Connie Matsui. As I think you mentioned earlier, the foundation was responsible for securing more than $10 million in grant funding for this beautiful library. Connie, thank you for all of your help. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to add my brief thanks on behalf of the San Diego Foundation to Mayor Faulconer, Congresswoman Davis, Assemblymember Gloria, Councilmember Ward, the San Diego Public Library Foundation, all of the friends here of the Mission Hills-Hillcrest Library, and the many other leaders who helped make this project a reality. And also, welcome to our future leaders, Girl Scouts. So for more than 40 years, the San Diego Foundation has maximized the impact of charitable giving for generous philanthropists throughout the region. This new Mission Hills-Hillcrest, Harley and Bessie Knox Branch Library is a wonderful example of what's possible when leaders from philanthropy and the public sector join together to create positive impact in the community. And as I'm here, I just want to share a short story from my childhood. Going to the local public library was a very special experience. My mother, my father, my sister, and I lived in the home of a wealthy family where my mother worked many hours as a maid. There was one time a week when she took time to take me to the public library, and not only did I get to pick out books, but she also picked out a book for herself. So she really passed on the love of reading to me. This being here reminds me of that feeling of deep contentment and excitement as she brought home her one book and I brought home my 10. 10 was about, I was about your size. 10 was about as much as I could carry. I always wanted to bring more. So I do want to, again, express deep thanks to the Hurdy family and the Donna Knox-Sefton family for the many ways you have touched the lives of countless San Diegans through your philanthropy at the San Diego Foundation, from helping students pursue higher education and strengthening our museums to advancing scientific research and enhancing our local parks. Thanks to their combined $10 million gift, Mission Hills and Hillcrest families now have a vibrant new library and community space that will become a central location for residents and children to gather together to learn and engage with each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Connie. Well said. Thank you. All right, you ready? Let's do this. Come on, you guys help us. Oh, well, you guys help us count it down. You guys kids, you can count it? So it starts. 5, 4, 3. Yay! All right, come on in, guys. Thank you. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Oh, this is beautiful.
Our children's area here.
Oh, that's where they're going first.
Yeah. And we have a hobbit house.
Oh, man.